man. I like you roll. Right. Get one of that.
Because we don't hell yeah.
I love you, bro.
I love you too.
I'm sorry.
Hey, I'm sorry that I couldn't give you a better.
No, you did wonderful. You did great. You did great, man. You did great.
You surprised me.
You did great. You okay?
Sus having ass dudes. Big buff sus having asses. Jesus.
Sorry, man.
Hey, don't be sorry. This is your time now. I have to say I'm out. You know, I'm 38 years old. I've been doing this for 25 years. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to fight, man. That's good.
What's good, family? It's your man, the YB, back once again. So we just heard there from your mans, Deontay, Wilder, and Robert Helenius. Yeah, listen, Mr. Helenius. Paid off having ass. Paid to jump on the floor. Now, if you listen carefully, it was quite quiet. Unfortunately, the powers that be have kind of adjusted the audio levels. But if you listen carefully and watch the transcript, Wilder says, "Thank you very much for jumping on the floor." And I got the check coming. I put the check in the mail. I got Shelly and the rest of the cabalons to put your check in the mail. Yeah? Now, people are saying, Hatman put a video out. Oh, there's no way it's fixed. Listen, we know, and I said this before the fight. I said to one of my dons before the fight, listen, Wilder has a history of paying his sparring partners in particular to jump on the floor. Malik Scott categorically did not get hit. He jumped on the floor. Yeah? So don't tell me anything about this. We've been known this. We've been known Wilder has a high affinity to pay his D-level sparring partners to jump on the floor. Now, a key piece of circumstantial evidence for me is the fact that, guess what? Let's just step back a second here. If there was any better way for Deontay Wilder to come back, what would it have been? Oh, it would have been Wilder goes in there with this big buff dude, who, by the way, has got great form recently. Kawanaki was supposed to be the next big thing. People were saying 2-3 years ago it was Wilder versus Kawanaki and AJ versus Kawanaki. That's the God's honest truth. He was the next one. He was up next. And Robert Helenius just ran through him twice. So again, what would be the best comeback story? Oh, Wilder knocks out the big kind of hype job slayer, the hype job killer, and Wilder knocked him out in one round with the first shot that landed. That wasn't even a shot. It was a wrist shot. He went like that. It reminds me of a video game. In certain video games, there's hacks where it's like one touch, and you get your pack smoked. That's what it was like. He went, I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen someone knock someone out by twisting their wrist. Do you understand? You're like, I've never seen that one before, ever. Think about all the boxing fights in history, yeah? Have you ever seen someone moving backwards and go like that? I've never seen that one. And like I said, I wouldn't mind, but the fact we've got Wilder versus Malik Scott on camera, that to me is troubling. Do you understand? Yeah? Oh, YB, there's no way it'd be fixed. Listen, we've seen it fixed before. It's not like it's someone who hasn't got previous for this. Wilder has previous for paying sparring partners to jump on the floor. That's just what it is. I'm going to delete the video. That's the thing, a lot of you mans ain't seen it. I suggest go on YouTube right now, type in Wilder versus Malik Scott, and then there's a 1 minute and 30-second video of Wilder knocking him out. Wilder throws the right hand and Malik Scott's head don't move. He don't get touched and he jumps on the floor. And I can't this is the thing. People are saying, YB, look at the reaction. Look at Helenius. There's no way it could be fake. Look at the reaction. Listen. Look at Malik Scott. He also, honestly, if you didn't know, if you hadn't seen the punch and all you saw was Malik Scott's reaction, he sold it. Honestly, I spoke to one of the Golden Globe dons, and he told me that year, all jokes aside, they told me that year Malik Scott was in the run-ins to be a nominee for the Golden Globes. Yeah, Golden Globes Best Male Actor Award. That's just what it is. I'm telling you what it is. He missed it. He was number 6 on the list. Yeah, they had Will Smith, Denzel, I think maybe, who else was it that year? It may have been, what's the guy's name? I forgot the guy's name. Maybe, I think Brad Pitt was on that one, 100%. Brad Pitt, Denzel, Samuel L. Jackson. And then Helenius was number 6. Oh, sorry, Malik Scott was number 6. He just missed his Golden Globe nomination. Yeah? And I heard also Malik Scott was the runner-up in, I think it was the Black African descendants for acting. That's what he got runner-up in. Yeah? Malik Scott in the year 2013 won the Black African Descendants Film Awards. Yeah, best male supporting artist. That's what I'm going to tell you what it is. You look up yourself. Malik Scott won the best male supporting act. And then Wilder, obviously, he won the main one. He won the actual best actor. 100%. Because guess what? Malik Scott was supporting Wilder's big charade. And that's the bottom line here. Yeah? Simple as that. You don't listen, people. Oh, why be this at the other? Listen, you don't win. How do you think he won? How do you think he got... Look, what do you think you end up in the run-ins for a Golden Globe for nothing? Yeah? The Golden Globes ain't putting people who ain't acting into the nominatorship. They ain't doing that. Nomineeship, whatever that word is. Yeah? They ain't nominating people who ain't the top actors in the world. That's what they ain't doing. So don't tell me that, oh, why be lying? Well, if I'm lying, yeah, and Malik Scott weren't acting, how did he get nominated for a Golden Globe? Oops. Exactly. You can't answer that one. He ain't in no movies. What movie have you seen Malik Scott in? But yet, he getting a Golden Globe nomination. Get out of here, man. Get serious. Anyway, man, listen. Helenius, you can hear the guy here. You can hear him thanking Wilder. Oh, thanks, Wilder, for giving me a payday for jumping on the floor. Wilder, thanks his sparring partner for going through with the charade, going through with the scam. And that's what it is. If you listen carefully, around the 40-second mark, you hear Wilder say, thank you so much. Now again, in my own reaction, I said, these two big buff, friendly, having-ass dudes. Let's pretend this is real, yeah? And that's why that's why I don't watch boxing. I didn't even watch this fight live, but listen, that's why I can't stand boxing. If it isn't two men who are coming to win, I ain't interested. If I don't know two men have something to lose, I ain't watching it, because it's bullshit. And this shows you, look at the reaction here. Wait a minute. Look at how Wilder reacted when he lost to Fury. That was because it's a man who wanted to win. Yeah? Helenius, by this video, shows he had no intention of winning. Because if he did, he'd have been pissed off. That's just the normal reaction. There ain't no man hugging next dude after they've been knocked out when they were genuinely turning up to win. It just ain't going down like that. I'm telling you now. And I'm 5'9". Never mind no big 250-pound big buff dude. How the fuck? Yeah? How can you be that big and buff and hugging on next man who just knocked you out in front of your wife and kids? Nah, man, that don't work. That don't work. Yeah? I'm telling you now. All the big 6'8" Nathaniel dons, they're turning in their graves right now. What? Yeah? Look at these big useless buff representatives. These men here are the representatives of the old Nathaniel dons. Yeah? Big meaty dons. And this is what they're doing. You just got knocked out. And you're hooking up on him. Nah, man, that don't work. Ain't no one doing that. The only way it goes down like this is if it's a big fix-up. Yeah? A super duper fix-up. Ain't no one hugging it, no one happy. And people can say, oh, well, YB, he sounded a bit downhearted. Listen. Oh, YB, they're sparring partners. Yeah, that's the point. Oh, well, YB, you got this one wrong because the reason he's hugging on next man who just knocked him out in front of his wife and kids is because they're friends. Yeah, that's the point, people. That's the same reason he took a dive. That's the same reason he jumped on the floor from that. Yeah? In school, people used to joke around, punching each other, going like that. Somehow Wilder, moving backwards. Like that. I've seen Helenius in there. I'm not saying Dillian White is no good. I've told you before, I can't stand Dillian White. But he's been in there with loads of people before. And even when he has been knocked out, he's been done so in a proper fight. With a proper right hand. If if Wilder knocks out Usyk or Joe Joyce, I can reconsider some of these things he's done. But so far, it's unfortunate. So far, Tyson Fury's actually proven he has more power than Wilder. Tyson Fury's iced Dillian White. Tyson Fury's iced Deontay Wilder. You understand? What do you do against your peers? Wilder, he flop against Fury 3 times. Oops. Yeah, that's what the history records will show. The history records won't talk about what he done with his sparring partner mates who got paid off to jump on the floor. Yeah, if you've got magical power, you demonstrate that against people of your own caliber. And unfortunately, every time Wilder's gone in there, which hasn't been very frequently, and that's the point, it pissed me off. Wilder keeps grandstanding. Even in this video, Wilder appears emotional. Oh, I'm so sad that I knocked another bum out. But really, it's like, if you was that worried and that bothered about damaging people, you wouldn't be going in there with bums. You'd be saying, wait there a minute, I don't want to put unnecessary damage on people. Let me go in there with someone my own level. He could say that. He could say, you know what, people, I've seen Pritchard Collins, whatever his name was. I don't want to do any unnecessary damage, so I'm only going to go in there and put my lethal weapons on people who can handle it. Instead, Wilder goes in there with a dude who's big, stiff and buff and useless and does exactly what he's been doing for the last 40 years of his career, 40 fights of his career. It's a contradiction. Oh, I'm really worried about damaging people, but yet you're going in there where you're 10 times overmatching them. That's not right. That's a contradiction. Anyone who's worried about causing damage doesn't go in there with bums he knows he's highly likely to damage. Yeah? So stop the grandstanding. Actions speak louder than words. Wilder needs to come out right now and make a stand. Listen, people, I know I've been the #1 proponent of the bum-slaying culture, but from now on, I'm making a stand. I don't think it's right in boxing that big, athletic, buff dudes like myself should be smoking on journeymen and beating up dudes who are 10 times worse than us. That's what Wilder should be doing if he was serious about his concerns. Instead, he goes back to making the problem worse. Yeah, anyone who's worried about brain damage, Wilder is the #1 problem in the game in that sense. Yeah, overmatched dude going in there with B-level, C-level, D-level cats. Wilder should be saying it's A-level or nothing, because I don't want to damage no one unnecessarily. He ain't saying that. No, I ain't gonna lie. I did say Helenius was in form, but again, I don't even think Helenius turned up. That's God's honest truth. People say, oh, YB, you were saying Helenius is in top form. Helenius was in top form when he was turning up to win. Do you see difference there? I mean, when Helenius was turning up to win against Kawanaki, yeah, he was what we call ODT, on this thing. Against Wilder, he jumped on the floor. YB, it was a great shot. I don't care what anyone says. He jumped on the floor. That's what we do know. All we know is we saw Wilder's wrist flick and we saw this big 6'8" Nafandaral looking ass. Viking Nafandaral have an ass. Jump on the floor. Told you already. All the Nafandarals are turning in their graves right now. Big Viking have an ass. What the fuck? Big Viking Nafandaral have an ass. Jump on the floor from a little wrist flick from a 200-pound dude. Nah, man, that don't work. Yeah, that ain't working. Nafandarals ain't going out like that. They just ain't. Big buff Nafandaral Viking looking ass dude as well. Jesus Christ. I just don't believe it myself. I don't believe it. Not even a little bit do I believe it. So listen, Wilder, all the weirdos, OIB hating. I'm the first. Listen, if Wilder knocks out Usyk, if Wilder knocks out Joe Joyce, we can then talk about everything else. Until then, until I see Wilder sleep a premier dude, because Fury isn't someone who's got a premier chin. OIB, what? But Fury put down twice. Cunningham, who's like a D-level puncher, has put down Fury. And to be quite frank, Cunningham put down Fury in a similar fashion to Wilder. Apart from the first fight, in the Fury vs. 1 first fight, where I have to mention, Fury was overtrained, Fury was under Ben Davidson, who's useless. In my opinion, it doesn't even really count, knowing how useless Ben Davidson is. Look at Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor went from a slayer to a complete bum under Ben Davidson. So for me, in fact, Josh Taylor has never even been rocked in his career. He goes in there with a B-level dude, Jack Casserole, who at least at the time was a B-level dude, and Josh Taylor gets put down for the first time. Josh Taylor's never even had a smidgen of going down. Josh Taylor ran through O'Hara Davis, who at the time was supposed to be big and bad. Yeah? The point is, that shows to me, whatever Ben Davidson's doing in training is making his fighters have no chin. So Fury being put down in the first fight, for me, don't even really count. Now, in the third fight, the put downs, they count, but look at them. When Fury went down, they was almost like flash knockdowns. They weren't Stone Cold, Steve Austin, Undertaker knockdowns, like the first fight. So, Wilder in the third fight did exactly the same as Cunningham. They were flash knockdowns. And we know Fury ain't got the greatest chin. So it's like, you was able to knock down a man who's already been knocked down. That don't prove nothing to me. Knock down Joe Joyce, never been down. Knock down Usyk, never been down. That's what you must do to prove this power. If you ain't doing that, I ain't trying to hear about nothing else. I'm just not. That's just me though. Yeah, and stop fighting these kind of cats, the paid off ones. Ain't no one trying to watch it. Yeah, and ultimately, if you didn't, just look at the narrative here. Oh, Wilder comes back and knocks the guy out in the first round. It's too good. I'm sorry, it's too good to be true. Particularly when there was no build-up. It was like Wilder was backpedaling, and then out of nowhere, and that's the whole thing. Oh, IB, of course it was out of nowhere. That's Wilder. Nah, man, I don't believe that. Yeah, it's a fix. It's a scam. Bottom line. And if you don't like it, go back and watch the Malik Scott one. And that there shows you the history of this. This isn't the first time. And when something's not the first time, there's a trend there. Yeah? Wilder has an affinity, particularly with sparring partners, particularly with people he knows, to do this kind of behaviour. Now let's see how he gets on in real fights. Because so far, he's been lacklustre at best. 100% confirmed, no doubt about it.